The plane that couldn't fly right. Boeing's 737 MAX scandal. In a world obsessed with advancement, the very vessel designed to unite us from corner to corner plummeted. A disaster etched in metal and memories. There's a cruel irony in how something designed to connect us can turn into an agent of sheer devastation. Once upon a time, in the bustling boardrooms of Boeing, a decision was made. A decision to create a plane so technologically superior, it would leave competitors trailing in the jet stream. Boeing, the titan of the skies, had been the guardian of our airborne dreams for decades. From the roar of the Boeing 707, which had charmed the 20th century, to the gigantic embrace of the 747, it wasn't just a company, it was an emblem of trust, pride, and the American prowess in engineering. Historically, and I mean way back when flight attendants were still called stewardesses, and smoking on planes was out of strictness, Boeing's planes had been the it crowd. From the 707, celebrated as the jet that brought in the jet age, to the iconic humpbacked 747, these were machines that didn't just fly, they ruled the skies. But the 21st century came with its own set of demands. The Boeing 737 MAX, the silver bullet in Boeing's arsenal, aimed at a world hungry for speed and efficiency. This was not just any plane, it was the plane. A promise to the future, a ticket to global domination in the aviation market. Now, for those wondering, why is this 737 MAX so special anyway? Well, it was an airline's dream. More seats, better fuel efficiency, and all jazzed up with the latest tech bells and whistles. Boeing was the all-American hero, a stalwart in aviation folklore, synonymous with power, majesty, and, of course, American know-how. Sarah, our quintessential air hostess, would often say, "There's something reassuring about the hum of a Boeing engine." And Mark, our business traveler, he had loyalty points with Boeing. It is his brand loyalty bordering on fanaticism. However, here's where it gets a tad sarcastic. In the bid to outdo its fierce European rival Airbus, which was gleefully showing off its A320neo, like a cat with a shiny new toy, boasting new engines and shaking its stale feathers with impressive fuel efficiency stats, Boeing was under pressure. Pressure to produce, pressure to outperform, and, dare we say, pressure to take a few shortcuts. For Boeing, this wasn't just competition, it was a challenge. And here's where Boeing, in their zest to keep the blockbuster 737 series going, decided to revamp with its new engines and the promise of unmatched fuel efficiency. 20% less fuel than the previous models, they claimed. 737 MAX was the showstopper at the global aviation party. Orders started pouring in, and by 2019, Boeing had a backlog of over 4,000 orders for the 737 MAX. The 737 MAX, with its shiny new engines, was that dancer trying to pirouette in those heavy boots. The Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS system, a flight stabilizing feature, was Boeing's solution to ensuring this dancer wouldn't trip on stage. And while we're on the topic of performances, let's not forget how Boeing decided to give pilots a surprise by not giving them a comprehensive manual on this new feature. Now the world watched in anticipation as the 737 MAX continued Boeing's legacy, or became a symbol of ambition's pitfalls. Little murmurs of discontent and confusion came from the pilots. A seemingly innocuous forum post here, a hushed conversation in an airline lounge there. "Have you noticed the 737 MAX behaving a bit odd?" became a frequent refrain. These were no longer isolated issues, but patterns that suggested the plane was more diva than darling. And on October 29, 2018, a date now etched in aviation infamy, Lion Air Flight 610, a brand new 737 MAX, nosedived into the Java Sea just 12 minutes post-takeoff. 189 souls lost. The shockwaves from the crash were seismic. How could a brand new plane, backed by decades of Boeing trust, just fall? The initial chalk up was to pilot error or maintenance issues. However, aviation circles were abuzz, and the mystery deepened. But lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, right? Wrong. March 10, 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, another 737 MAX, plunged to the ground shortly after takeoff. 157 people gone. The aviation world wasn't just shocked now. It was horrified. Two brand new planes, two eerily similar crashes, and too many unanswered questions. Independent investigators, journalists, even YouTubers started piecing together the puzzle. Leaked internal communications, pilot testimonials, and a deep dive into the MAX's system unearthed the MCAS. Lawsuits piled up faster than unchecked baggage at a busy airport. The victims' families, still grieving their unimaginable losses, sought justice. In July 2019, Boeing announced a $100 million fund to meet the family and community needs of those affected by the crashes. Now, to the layperson, that might sound like a lot, but consider this. The price tag for a single 737 MAX starts at $121.6 million. Documents and emails surfaced suggesting that Boeing employees were not only aware of the MCAS issues, but mocked those who raised safety concerns. One gem of a message from a company employee read, "This airplane is designed by clowns, who are in turn supervised by monkeys." Consequences came swift and hard. The entire fleet of 737 MAX planes found themselves grounded worldwide. The financial toll on Boeing was staggering. By the end of 2019, estimated costs tied to the grounding had soared to over $18 billion. And that's not even accounting for the loss of trust and the tarnished brand image. Internally, heads rolled. Dennis Muhlenberg, Boeing CEO, who initially boasted about the company's commitment to safety, found himself ousted. His exit package, a sweet $62.2 million. The mighty Boeing, which once soared high with ambition and pride, was now navigating one of the most turbulent periods in its history. By December 2019, their stock had plummeted by over 25% from its peak earlier that year. Shareholders, previously gleefully checking their portfolios, now grimaced with every financial update. The societal impact wasn't just limited to money and courtroom dramas. Every time people boarded a plane, whispers of the 737 MAX echoed in the cabin. Trust in aviation, a field that had prided itself on safety statistics, took a nosedive. Boeing did embark on a public mea culpa tour. The company took out full-page advertisements in major newspapers, expressing regret. Yes, there were attempts at reform. Boeing set out to revamp its safety protocols, vowing that the 737 MAX would return to the skies only after exhaustive testing. They promised it would be the safest plane ever, and that sounded optimistic. Yet, as time ticked on, Boeing made headway. By November 2020, the FAA had cleared the 737 MAX to fly again in the U.S. other countries' aviation regulators, while cautious, began to follow suit. As of 2021, the company has seen a slow but steady resurgence. Although the U.S. Department of Justice charged Boeing with a $2.5 billion settlement in January 2021 due to conspiracy to defraud the FAA's Aircraft Evaluation Group, new orders trickled in, and airlines, ever the opportunists, capitalized on the public's wavering memories. But the legacy of the 737 MAX scandal will forever be a part of Boeing's fabric, a stain that no amount of corporate whitewashing can entirely remove. Whether Boeing soars or sputters in the future, that's a tale yet to be written. But for the sake of all air travelers, let's hope they've truly learned their lesson. After all, it's one thing to miss a sales target. It's another to gamble with the very lives that trust you to keep them safe. Safe travels, everyone, and always read the safety card, because you never know.